Guys, today on The Real Story, the folks who blew your money on this will be enforcing Obamacare now, the same IRS that targeted Tea Party groups. So are they up to the task? Plus, the president says the GOP is thinking about next year's midterm elections instead of governing. But wasn't it the Obama administration that pushed back 2014 Obamacare enrollment until after the midterms? Also, could you find one of these as you wash the grapes you just bought at the grocery store? One woman did. It's a Black Widow alert. And the heartwarming surprise that brightened up an otherwise ugly football game and had fans crying tears of joy. Hi, everyone. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Welcome to a Monday edition of The Real Story. I'm Gretchen Carlson. With the deadline to fix the Obamacare website just days away now, you may be surprised to learn where the president is today and what he's doing. He's on the road fundraising. And right now he's gearing up for a big speech, not on health care or the efforts to fix the website, but on immigration. Steve Centani, live for us at the White House. Hi, Steve. So what new steps are being taken by the White House to fix the Obamacare website while the president is on the road?
Right, Gretchen. Today, the White House talking about a new way to ease the crunch as people try to sign up for Obamacare on that troubled government website. White House spokesperson John Earnest, on a flight with the president today from Seattle to San Francisco, told reporters the website should be able to handle 50,000 users at one time by the end of this month. And if there are more than that number trying to use it, they can elect to get an email giving them top priority at a later time when volume is lower. Meantime, some Republicans are insisting the Affordable Care Act isn't fixable at all, while Democrats say it just needs more time. Listen.
I do not believe you can fix this law to lower the cost and increase access. We have to scrap it and start anew and get a bipartisan consensus that actually puts the patient first.
I don't think Obamacare has failed. Access to Obamacare has been a failure at this point in time, and it needs to be fixed. So from that standpoint, the substance of Obamacare is yet to be tested.
And the White House says it is on track to have that website fixed by the end of this month. Gretchen?
All right, Steve. So we know the president is on the West Coast. What is he doing today?
Not doing much about Obamacare, as you pointed out. Mostly he's raising money. He arrived in San Francisco today, part of a three-day swing down the Pacific coast. He attended a few fundraisers in Seattle last night, and today he's in San Francisco for an immigration event, also some fundraisers, and then he goes to Los Angeles where there are even more fundraisers and one event on the economy. The event on the economy will take place at DreamWorks Studios in Southern California, and the CEO there, of course, Jeffrey Katzenberg, a big Obama donor. Gretchen?
Steve Centani, live for us at the White House. Thank you very much. Obamacare bringing new responsibilities for the IRS, the very same agency under fire for targeting conservative and Tea Party groups, and the one that spent your hard-earned taxpayer dollars online dancing videos for its employees. Remember that? What about the Star Trek parody training videos? Well, now the IRS taking on the enormous responsibility of enforcing the individual mandate and doling out fines if you don't sign up for Obamacare. Guy Benson is a radio talk show host and political editor at townhall.com. Good to see you guys. So is the IRS up to this enormous task?
That remains to be seen. This is a huge, heavy lift for the IRS, and there is a Washington Post story today explaining that their new tasks connected to Obamacare number in the dozens. There are up to 4 dozen new jobs that the IRS is going to have to accomplish in regards to its charge on Obamacare, and some of them aren't going to be easy given all the moving parts and the fact that elements of this website still haven't even been built yet on the back end. I think it's very much an open question. One Treasury source telling the Washington Post this is the largest expansion of IRS authority in recent memory. That's significant.
Well, it's significant, and I think a lot of people who are watching right now are really nervous because they've seen what happened with the Obamacare website rollout. And then you think about the IRS, and anytime you mention those 3 letters, people can panic because they're scared of the IRS, quite frankly. Now, with regard to these fines, they're going to be in charge of coming after people, young and healthy, a lot of them, who maybe decide to just pay the fine instead of enrolling for Obamacare. But apparently, according to this report, the way they're going to get that money is to garnish refund money that may be going back to folks if they overpaid their taxes. How do you see that working?
That's right. That is the one enforcement mechanism that they have at their disposal in this circumstance, where they can garnish people overpaying their taxes, that refund that they would get, but some of the other typical enforcement mechanisms that they use, like tax liens and garnishing wages and that sort of thing, aren't available to them through the way the ACA is written, the way Obamacare is written in law. So, and not only, Gretchen, are they in charge of figuring out what people's penalties are, they have to figure out whether people are in compliance in the first place,
right,
whether or not they need to be penalized, whether or not they're exempted, which is the HHS department's purview.
Right.
So we'll see if they can coordinate properly. And then there's another element that the IRS is responsible for, which is paying trillions of dollars in subsidies to the insurers. That's their job.
Wow.
And as we found out in testimony last week, that they are way behind on constructing the back end of the website.
Right. Got to get your thoughts on this poll. 4 out of 10 people now, Americans, believe that President Obama, only 4 out of 10, believe he can manage government effectively, coupled with the fact that for the first time a majority, 53%, believe he's not trustworthy. What do you make of it?
Well, these are toxic numbers for the White House and for the president, and the poll that you just cited really reflects a broader trend that we saw in the Quinnipiac poll, in the Fox News poll from last week, the Washington Post, ABC News poll. This is not an isolated survey. And when you have a public that views any politician, particularly a president, as some combination of untrustworthy, incompetent, and poor at his job performance, that is a very difficult hole to climb out of. And Gretchen, when you look at the president's ratings over his first 5 years in office,
right,
typically you've seen people skeptical of his job performance on the economy and on other issues.
But they always like him.
That firewall was always his personal favorability, and that's been eroded.
All right. Guy Benson, great to see you. Have a great week.
Thank you, Gretchen. You too.